Hello, 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 my dear listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Hearts Unlocked. If you're new here, welcome to the family of Hearts Unlocked. Before we proceed to today's episode, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hearts Unlocked Podcast. Follow me on my Instagram channel, Tasty Travel and Talks, for more content. For those who are Spotify fans, you can listen to my podcast on Spotify as well. It's available at Spotify, Hearts Unlocked Podcast. Please do follow me on Spotify and give it a 5-star rating, as it would motivate me to create more content for you guys. I'm your host, Veronica. Today we are diving into episode 2 with Durga. If you haven't got a chance to check out episode 1 yet, don't worry, I've got you covered. You can find the link below in the description, so be sure to give it a listen. Now, for those who are returning for episode 2, you will surely remember that we have wrapped up last time by encouraging you to let your mind wander. Did you give it a try? Did you allow your thoughts to roam freely? Did your mind went to Wonderland or La La Land? I don't know, whichever land. If so, let's hope it brought you some clarity and peace. Without further ado, let's welcome Durga back for an exciting episode. Today, we are diving into more fascinating topics like energy. Whose energy? What is energy? So sit back, relax, and let's unlock some hearts together.
When you have mentioned previously stating that you sit down and you see where is that feeling coming from, where is that energy coming from, can you just explain to our listeners what is energy and how do you know where it is coming from, and how can you tell that what type of energy it is, or it is even if it's even yours or not? Because I remember we discussing about it one day, about a topic stating that, hey, I'm feeling something and I know that it's not mine. I remember you quoting this. So just walk me through all over again regarding it. How about your energy or others' energy, and how do you feel it? How do you tackle it? Everything.
I've learned that I'm an empath, and that has come because of my difficult childhood that I had, where my parents are pretty strict, and you kind of sense in that environment that you did something and your father is upset or your mother is upset, and the room, and the environment changes and everything. From there, you get this quality of being an empath, so you can sense there's a change in the atmosphere. It's something like you get into a room and you feel that everybody's tensed. Nobody's telling it to you that they are all tense, but you kind of sense it because the environment there is all tensed. The energy that you're feeling there is tensed. Uh, that was my introduction to energy. And I remember a situation where I think I was all in a happy space when I reached office. I love my office. I love working. So I'm always in a happy, jolly mood when I go to office and I talk to everybody. That's what I did that day. But somehow I started to feel angry for no reason because nothing has happened by then. I mean, you can understand if I didn't get coffee from the coffee machine, okay, that might have triggered me, or, somebody scolded me, or in the morning I had difficulty commuting to office. Nothing such has happened to me, but I wanted to shout, like I was not even able to control it. Uh, with those exercises that I meant, that I was not able to control it, and I felt like I wanted to shout at everybody, even saying hi to me. I could not stand people talking around me. The anger was just, about to explode. And I thought the best thing that I can probably do is, take a half day leave and just go home and, just sleep for some time or take rest. But I felt that day that the energy is not mine. I had a discussion with somebody, and they said that empath has this ability to feel somebody's energy. So I stopped hugging people at my office. We had a culture where, we come and we hug people, not everybody, your close people in your office. So there were people whom I used to hug with, or I used to shake hands with. And I stopped doing that, and I saw that, okay, I'm not taking people's energy now, because it's very easy to transfer your energy. Even when you meet somebody, you can actually feel. Women have this instinct where they can figure out a situation if it is, against them. They can feel that, the person is fishy. It's because of the vibe that the person is giving. So these days, people call it vibe, but that's called as energy. You feel some sort of energy, something feels not right about the situation. It's basically that. I started to understand that it's not just a person that I'm meeting, whether it's a cab driver, and he told me a sob story, and I think I took that sadness within me, and now that it is inside me, I had to treat this as my own emotion, sit with it, process it, cry it out, and do that. But there were times when I thought I could, the moment I sensed somebody's energy, I used to get kind of a picture in my. That's when I realized that, okay, now I have started doing this also. That I am picking up on energies from people who are not even in my life, or probably not even around me right now.
Oh, wow. You pick up energies and you said that you are an empath. So just explain what is an empath is. As apart from, you can sense people energy, you can pick up energy from people. Apart from that, how do you describe an empath?
Um, I will tell you. So basically, empaths are basically, they have this ability to understand somebody's emotions. They put themselves in other shoes, to understand what the other person is really, going through. That's what I know. It's called an empath. Having that feeling to help other people, and that, I think from there I've got this. Like I've mentioned, that I've got this from my childhood, because I had a very difficult childhood. I had to parents who were very strict with everything in my life at that point of time. So I think that's where I developed this particular thing in me, that I could sense people's energy. And there were times I could just see through people that this person is a fake person, or this person is a negative person, or this person is positive person, and I was only around people who were emitting positive vibes, and I avoided people with negative, people who were basically negative. Maybe they were gossiping, they were talking bad about somebody. To protect my energy, I had to stop checking out news every day, because that's where you take most of the negative energies from, because news always reports things that are going bad in the world out there. So that, and songs that don't resonate with me anymore, if I don't go by the lyrics, if that lyrics is not something that I align with, I don't listen to it, no matter how catchy the tunes is. And yeah, I had to make some tough decisions of removing some people out of my life just because they were negative. And trust me, people who were positive also entered my life, who were kind, who were uh, beautiful, who had beautiful souls. I mean, they were helpful. I've met so many great people along the way. And the bad peoples, I had to leave. Either I had to remove them out of my life, or they left it themselves.
You mean great people like me?
Of course.
Thank you. You should have I mean, included in the caption stating that great people like you. I shouldn't have, explicitly asked you.
Oh my God, this is another thing where I have taught you not to assume certain things and just ask me. So if you felt like it, just ask me.
So that's
That is also one thing that probably I have started to do. And it's been almost, um, again, more than 12 months, but more than a year, that I've practiced to not have any expectations from people, also not to assume things. So we have this tendency to assume that, okay, if this person is online, why this person is not responding to me? Oh, this person doesn't like me. This is what we call, is this assumption. The best thing to do is ask that person directly, because sometimes what happens, I am online, but I'm not, have the mental bandwidth to respond to anybody. That doesn't mean I don't care about that person, but only if the person asks me, I can tell this. I can't just go and announce it to people that, hi, I have low bandwidth right now, mental bandwidth. I cannot talk to you right now. So, no assumptions, no expectations.
Yeah, of course. If you can hear my dog barking in the background, just please ignore it. She's extremely active in the night, and she loves to, as we are communicating, as we are doing a podcast, maybe she's doing a podcast with her friends. I'm not sure about that, and I'm giving her the privacy she needs.
Every time we communicate, I hear your three dogs, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I know
I,
you are
I
with it, and you have known them for quite some time. I'm, ex- dear listeners, you should get used to it. You will have my dog's voices, barking, quarreling, crying, I don't know, whatever in the background. I would try my level best to eliminate the background noise, but if it's not possible, just please, what do you call this? Embrace it,
adjust.
enjoy it, everything.
Yeah, if they're your listener, they're supposed to do that.
Yeah, they will. And
Oh,
let's get into the interesting topic now, as we have, you know what is Durga right now. So let our listeners know what is Durga with Vishnu. So first of all, let's give them a brief explanation on how did you meet Vishnu and what is the relationship between both of you. Um, let's talk about that.
oh my God, I didn't think you'll get this Vishnu topic, abruptly after we discussed no expectations and assumptions. Um, but to answer your question, um, so I was, this is back in 2021. I was separated then from my then, husband. And I was figuring out my life, and I was also taking therapy sessions thanks to the things that happened in my marriage. And my therapist asked me to switch my surroundings, whether it is, office. So I had to switch from my previous organization to this organization, and I'm glad that within no time I could switch it. And within no time I could switch my surrounding as well. I started meeting new people at my new organization. Uh, but at the same time, she also asked me to shift to a place where I live alone, because she believed that my likes and dislikes are diluted just because I'm, living with my parents. And while I could change my surroundings, I could change my job, but the decision to switch houses was a huge decision at that point of time. So I kind of brushed it aside for some time. So new job, new company, new people surrounding me. And my therapist had asked me that you should start meeting a lot of people that you can. And at office you'll hardly meet about 5 6 people or 7 people at most. So start mingling with new people. And at that point I think I was feeling uh, I would accept it that I was feeling kind of lonely. So when somebody pitched it, that to this online dating thing, which was not something that I believed in, because I think being a millennial and 90s kid, or I would say technically I'm an 80s kid, that you don't believe in digital dating. You believe in the real conversation when you meet a person and you talk to them, the conversation that happens naturally. And here on online, where you see pictures, you swipe left and right, and it just I had this analogy that this is very similar to Amazon, where you put all your filters out and then you get the items that you can choose from. And it just felt like that, and I didn't like it. So what I said this to my colleague was, I'll give it a shot. um, um, then I thought, I'll give it about 1 month time. And I did give it religiously 1 month time. So when I used to wake up, I used to sit for about 10-15 minutes, swiping left and right. And after coming back from office, I used to again sit and, check people out left and right. But nothing meaningful happened. I mean, people started asking me vague questions like, what's my favorite color, my favorite food, but nothing meaningful has happened. And then I think it was 27th or 28th day of 30 or 31 days at that point of time. And I thought, why to wait for 30 days? Let's just, delete this app forever. I don't think it's working out. I gave it already 28 days. And then uh, I swiped few people, went back to sleep, and I had a sleeping schedule. I used to sleep by 9:30, 10, so I went to sleep. And then I got up, and I don't know, I felt like checking my phone, and I saw this message from somebody. So that was a app called Bumble, and there the girls used to make their first move. So I don't know what message did I send this guy, Vishnu. Uh, he was very direct. He said he's separated, and he wanted to talk and everything about him. And I think that's where I felt a connection that, okay, there is somebody out there who's, sailing in the same boat as me. I am clueless about my life, so I'm sure this person is also clueless. So I started talking to him, and I think we spoke for about a day or two, and we decided to meet. And let me tell you, that was the first time ever I was meeting somebody that I have, never met before in my life. That was the first time, and I was all nervous. You remember, right? I texted you saying that I'm nervous, and this is how it is, that is how it is, and you try to calm me down. And then the time came when I met him,
Mm-hmm. And you
and
forget about everything. And you
oh
kept
my,
me for 5 hours.
I was so nervous at that point of time. The first time we met, I don't think I was talking much. I think it was just the guy talking and talking.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, looking at him, and I didn't realize how did the time flew. I have no idea that I went there for about 7, and I don't even remember. The waiter came and he said, "Ma'am, last order." That's when we both realized that, okay, we didn't realize that, okay, it's not time ho gaya and all. I'm sorry to speak in Hindi, but we didn't realize that we have spent so much time, so much hours. But this is the first time we are meeting, right? So, that's a big thing where you don't have a sense of timing when talking to somebody. And then we came out. I was waiting for my cab, he was waiting for his cab. His cab arrived first. My cab, as usual, was 5 minutes away, not answering my phone calls. It was not 5 minutes away, it was 15 minutes away, and not answering my phone call. And he offered to drop me. I was hesitant at first, But there was something about him that I was like, okay, I can probably go and he can drop me home. I trust this guy. I don't know. It was 1 a.m. or probably roughly around 1 a.m. And I allowed him to drop me home. He dropped me home, and the thing that I liked was it was a safe trip. He didn't try to take advantage of me, trying to touch me in ways that he could, and he dropped me home safe. So I think I got a very positive impression of this guy. Yeah, that's how my first meeting happened. My first digital meeting happened with this guy.
I still remember that day. But a quick question, Durga, was he that handsome that you even ignored my call for 5 hours?
Oh my God, he had this thing about him. He had this beautiful smile, and he
Uh-huh.
went on and on and on. And the funny fact is, I don't remember single word of what he was talking. Not then, but not now. I don't remember anything of whatever he was talking. I don't remember anything except for this song that was playing on loop. And I think I asked him that, they are playing this song for the seventh time. And he said, I don't think they have any good songs to play. So I think they are playing this on loop. Other than that, I don't think I played any other song. And he's really tall. And I am a average height woman, and he's tall. So I think that also, I'm not saying that made me feel safe with him, but there was something about his aura that made me feel like I can go with this guy, because you know at 1 a.m. I don't feel safe with my colleagues. That
Mhm.
I need somebody whom I know to drop me back home safely. And I don't trust anybody who's my colleague or acquaintance. I don't trust them that easily, but I could trust this guy.
Yeah, I know. I know each and every single thing, trust me. So, what was the experience like for both of you? And mainly for
How
you.
do
I
you,
mean, how can you actually tell his point of view?
first tell
For-
me, how do you know? And what do you know?
I know everything, okay? Every single thing.
I'm curious now. And see, I'm not assuming and asking you. So please tell me.
I mean, obviously, I didn't spy on you or nothing, but yeah, a bit of what you have shared with me and a bit of what I thought. Yeah, it is a mixture of everything. We can discuss this offline.
Okay, fine. I'm really curious right now.
You should be.
Okay, so you were asking me something.
What was the experience like for you?
I think it was great. The first time meeting somebody, I've never met him. I just chatted with him for a day or two, and then I'm meeting him, and then spending about 4 to 5 hours and not realizing how time flew was a different experience for me. I don't know how I can label it in one word or how I can express it, but yeah, it felt different. It felt magical. Nothing romantic as such as of now, but yeah.
Yeah, I know your experience was, you did, I guess, the very next day you did share with me your entire experience. I know in between, whenever I mean, he went into washroom or you went to the washroom, you did give me a couple of updates here and there. But
I don't think I gave you update. I think I just mentioned. I think it was a single message that I sent. I don't think
yeah,
I
I
gave you
guess
the
a
context.
single or two, that's it. Because I remember, like, waiting here. Like, hey, why didn't she text it? Isn't she home? What is she doing for these many hours? I mean, she's not replying. She's not answering my call. Whatever. I went actually bonkers.
Yeah, I remember my mom called me and I disconnected her call and I put my phone upside down.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because I think I was enjoying the conversation so much, and after so long in my life, I have met so many guys in my life, you know that. And none of them have come close to this where, after 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
I'll feel bored.
Hmm.
I can't sit there. But this guy managed to make me sit for more than I probably 4 hours, which was a huge thing to that I noticed that, oh my God, I'm spending I spent about more than 4 hours with this guy, and then he wanted to drop me home. I allowed him to drop me home. Fortunately, he dropped me home safe, and yeah.
How do you describe the connection you have with him? I know you felt safe, and you guys talked for hours. But what was your first impression apart from, yeah, he's handsome, his smile was great, you felt safe? Apart from that, what was your first impression, and how can you describe the connection you had with Vishnu?
So, what happened with this guy was again completely different from again whatever I've had, known about guys in general, because there are guys who, you know, who liked me, proposed to me, or, disguised as friendship to just, later become my boyfriend. At least they try to. But this guy was completely different. I loved interacting with this guy. Main reason was because he's separated and I'm separated, and no matter how much I share with you, you won't be able to understand exactly, though you will have uh, sympathy for me. You will understand that I'm going through something difficult, but he knows exactly how difficult the situation is. So the connection was pretty great, but we spoke for hours only when we were in person. The connection went off when we both were not together. So together it was completely different, and it was again a different thing when we were not together. I realized that after 2 to 3 times, the next time when you know I met him, we started triggering each other's fears, insecurities, and I thought, okay, now misunderstandings are popping up. There are things that I could sense then that he wants to ask me, but he never did. And there are things that I wanted to say, but because he didn't ask me, so I never said it. And I just let it build, the misunderstanding, and to a point where he also felt I have developed feelings for him, which I didn't realize at that point of time that I had. Um, he said that I should have allowed him to chase me, but why should I? Never believed in making somebody chase me or me chasing somebody. I believed in open communication, that you like somebody, just tell it. You don't like somebody, just tell it. I believed in that, but I think he believed in taking it slow or something like that. But and I had no idea that I had developed feelings, or I don't know if I kind of showed it through my body language that I kind of have feelings for you now. uh what I felt at that point of time is I have somebody that I can talk to. I can just forget the world, and I can just talk to him for hours, and then I can go home, and that's all. But things didn't work out. Things went nasty, and to a point, we decided, not we decided, I think he decided that we should not communicate again. And I respected that. And at that point, at least, I respected that. And we never spoke again.
So things ended between both of you. So how when it ended between both of you, how did it how did you take it, how did you tackle it? And I mean, when you said saying that he sensed it, that you developed the feelings for him, kind of like your action showed, although you didn't realize it, your action showed. So how did he take it? How did he react to it?
I think he was understanding. He was not rude. He was patient with me. If I explained him, hello, I don't have feelings for you, I think, he understood that, but I think something went off as soon as I stepped out of the door. He also mentioned that he felt the same. I mean, he enjoyed my company when I'm around. But then I didn't matter when I stepped out of the door. So I didn't understand what he was trying to say at that point of time. But he was never, I won't say he was rude to me ever. Even, the last call that we had where he said, let's not talk and let's end things here. I think he did that also in a very polite way. I've seen other people do it too, in other, couples that I've seen in my life. I've seen them. I've seen my ex-husband. So that is not rude at all. He was good with me, but I think things just didn't work between us, as I was, not in a good mental headspace, and I thought maybe he's also not in a good mental headspace, since we both are separated and we are going through something challenging. And though we both are separated, as a woman, I have different challenges. As a guy, he has different challenges. So, yeah. And I understood that much later in my life, probably after a year of this conversation, because earlier I had this anger within me of, I didn't do anything. Why is this guy reacting this way? Why is he doing that to me? Why is he behaving this with me? I am not this person, but he's thinking I'm, XYZ, but I don't see myself as that person. From where did he uh you know make up that, okay, Rima is this, whereas I'm not that? But in a way, we both were triggering each other's fears and insecurities, and I don't know, but we did certainly trigger each other.
So how did you feel, after your relationship with Vishnu ended, or whatever the bond you have with Vishnu ended? And how, I mean, what are the things you guys triggered each other? If you feel
um,
comfortable sharing, what are the things you both triggered each other?
so our connection, so every time we met, we spent about 4 to 5 hours every time we met. But in those 4 5 hours, he definitely did trigger certain things where, why do you say sorry so often? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And at that point, it didn't make sense to me. I can't dwell into, personal things, but then I have to talk about his personal things. But we certainly did trigger each other. For me, it was more on my confidence, my self esteem, how I deal with my life, how I talk, a lot of other things. There are things that I did I'm not, feeling great about. And I don't know why I did those things. I never did that before that incident or after that incident. So I don't know. I can't talk much about it. Um but yeah, so we triggered each other a lot in ways. I triggered his fears. He had certain fears in him. I triggered that. I kind of proved it to me that your fears are for real. He proved it to me. My fears are real. My insecurities are real. I had some assumptions. Those are real and everything.
So how did you feel after that? I mean, after your bond ended or after your relationship ended, how did you feel?
Uh, I think after I said goodbye to him, I broke down, and that was a point where I felt that I have been taking a lot of things that are emotionally too hard for me, and this was the final nail in the coffin or something, where I just couldn't take it anymore and I just broke down. I remember I was standing at a place that I could not even take two more steps to reach the couch, and I just broke down there. I felt hard on the floor and I started to cry like a baby for hours. And it was as if, after this incident, it was as if the life I'm living, but I'm not actually living, I'm just breathing. And at one point, the therapy was not helping me. Like I said, I continued my therapy. So I told that lady that, I have done all these things. I've also shifted to a new home like you requested. And I think the timing was wrong for me to shift to a new home. What happened was, in so I had my marriage anniversary that was coming up in the month of December, and I had to shift from my parents' place because I knew my ex-husband would come there and maybe emotionally blackmail me. And what if I end up going back to him? It was an abusive relationship, so I didn't want to go back. So because she asked me to shift, I guess it was in the month of July or August, but I shifted in December, and I shifted to the same apartment where Vishnu stayed. And there, the things went south because I think he assumed I'm doing this for him. But from my side, I was doing this for me. I had a deadline, which was December 11th was my deadline. 11th or 12th was my deadline. And I had to shift before that, and by hook or crook. And I shifted on December 3rd. You remember that you had come to my home the
Mm-hmm.
next week, and I said, today would have been my anniversary,
Yeah.
sort of. And fortunately, what I expected didn't happen. My ex-husband didn't turn up to request because he has those tendencies in the past. Uh, I was not assuming these things. He used to do those things in the past, so I believed he would do that. And I didn't tell my address to my parents of where I'm staying because I believed my parents would end up, if he does emotional blackmail, my parents would end up giving my address. And I was not comfortable doing that because there's a reason why I shifted. And yeah, all of this stuff happened. I broke down, and I tried to do everything the therapist said, but nothing was working. I was enjoying, I was, going out with my friends. I was doing the things that I actually love, which is dancing, listening to music, meeting people, going out, hanging out with people. But nothing was making me happy. I mean, you understand that, right? That you're
Mm-hmm.
just breathing, but you're not actually living your life. I think that's when I realized that the therapy is not working. I, in fact, changed my therapist several times in the month of December, but everybody goes back to the same thing. Why don't you read a book? Why don't you do this? And I thought, I don't like reading books. I'm more of a podcast kind of a person, so I don't like reading books. So why is she asking me to read a book? And that's when I reached out to my life coach.
Wow. So how did you tackle those feelings? So you had mix of a lot of emotions because back then you were not this much of spiritually higher on what you are right now. You had all mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and everything. So how did you end up tackling the emotions even before you reaching out to your life coach? So obviously once you reached out to your life coach, he did help you a lot. So before reaching out to him, how did you managed all of this?
I don't. know if I can say I managed it, but I the thing that I could do then was focusing on my daily activities. So I focused on my daily activities, which is waking up, taking care of your house, cooking, cleaning, going to office, working, meeting your colleagues, listening to them. And if I feel like talking about my problems, I used to go and talk to problems. Then I realized that nobody's gives a damn about my problem. They don't want to listen to my problem. So I started to stop sharing my problem with people, to sleep, because I was overthinking a lot, because I was feeling a lot. I started playing bhajans on loop, and that's how I used to go to sleep every day. That's I think when I understood that all this stuff are helping me in that moment, but I need something that will help me walk. I'm not living my life. I'm just trying to deal with the things that are happening around, but I'm not living my life, and I really want to do something to live my life. Yeah.
So basically, you didn't dealt with all that emotions, but you just, like, what do you call this, diverted yourself with all your daily activities.
Yeah. I was more, this also I realized from my life coach, that when you go hang out with your friends, you come back, the problem still remains unless you face it head on. That's also something that he taught me. So now I face my emotions head on instead of putting it aside for some time.
That's good. I mean, if you face them head on, so it's like done and dusted, then and there. When you like just divert it, deviate from it, you end up bottling up, and one day your bottle do get full. So that's when it will burst out like an volcano eruption. So I have been there, but it's good
I
to
think
bring out.
that's what happened with my last conversation with Vishnu, when he said, things are not working out. And I sent a big message to him, which I later realized this year, that yeah, all ADHD people do that. That they are, they'll send lengthy messages. They want to share their side of opinion, because rejection is something that becomes very difficult for an ADHD person to deal with. So that was some sort of rejection, where he said, he won't talk to me anymore. He doesn't want to talk to me anymore, and he thinks his best interest for both of us to not talk anymore. And I think I lashed out at him at that moment, that he can go ahead and do whatever he wants. Is because I was holding on to a lot of emotions then. Um he saw a different version of me, but I was going through a lot in my family, where everybody is like, I should go back to my ex-husband. Then otherwise, at this age, I would not find anybody and all that. And with my ex-husband constantly calling me and doing those emotional blackmail things, where he's convincing, manipulating me, convincing, gaslighting me, to come back to him. And then I was dealing with everything. And then I think it came out on that particular phone call, where I just could not take it anymore. And I know that, you know, I had no idea then that I was bottling up, and it would come out in this particular conversation. And I had to forgive myself for that. That is also something that I've learned in my transformational journey, that you have to forgive yourself for who you were at that point of time, uh, and try not to repeat that again.
Obviously, you learn from your mistakes. And once, yeah, you learn it. Twice, I don't know, you learn it again, or thrice. I don't know how many times a person needs to repeat the same mistake to learn from it. It again differ from person to person. So how are you right now?
Let me just cut you. So it doesn't depend on person to person. If you're actually holding that awareness inside you,
Mm-hmm.
you learn that the first time, and then it's your choice if you want to work it, if you want to work on it or not. Because there are people who know they're doing something wrong, but they don't want to do anything about it. And there are people who don't know the first time because they're not aware. They're not living in the present moment to understand that, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. I shouldn't have done this. Some people don't even know the difference between right and wrong. But when you know that you have done something wrong, immediately try to do, understand what you can do best the next time this situation happens. How could you handle that situation in a better way? So awareness, being in the present moment, actually helps you in such situations.
So, okay, I'm trying to understand something here. So, in this case, yeah, as you mentioned, some people doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. Okay, and some people they do understand in the first attempt. And you just mentioned saying that some they know that they are doing wrong, but they're not willing to change it. So, in that case, is it that the person is not being there in the present moment, or is it again some other different situation with that person?
See, I'll tell you. So, you do something wrong, you hurt somebody's feelings, you see them cry, you know you have done something wrong, but are you trying to do something different? Like, I'll take my ex husband's example. He understood he did something wrong and he apologized to me later, which is okay, but he repeated that in cycles again and again and again. So, what I'm trying to say is some people know they're doing wrong and still don't do anything about changing their habits or changing themselves, being a better person. They don't do that because it's in their best interest. So my ex-husband was a narcissist, so what if he changes himself? He's actually giving the power back to me. That's what a narcissist thinks, that is giving the power back to me, and the power that he was holding up till then is no longer there. So in that case, they will not try to change. I would just give you an example, but there are several situations where they are aware that they're doing something wrong, but they don't have the courage to do something about it, or they just don't know what to do, or even if they know what to do, they don't want to do.
Got it. Kind of got a clarity on that. So now, obviously, me being your best friend, I know that you have changed from the day when you first met Vishnu and after you guys end things up and now. But personally, I mean, maybe I know 90% of what you have gone through or what you have changed, but you know the entire 1000% or 2000% because you have been in that situation. So, how much you have changed as a person since you met him and after things got ended and what you are right now?
Uh, I think I'm still the sensitive girl that he met with. I am still the kind girl or the sensitive girl and everything, but it's just that I have become little tough exterior. But for people who, there are people manipulators out there. So if they know I'm a sensitive person, they would come and abuse me emotionally. Friends who would call them friends but use me for their gain and leave me. So all that stuff would happen. So I have toughened myself in that way. But at the core, I'm still that girl, the sensitive girl, the kind girl. Um, the changes that happened to me was has helped me to see life in a in a light, in a beautiful light that I see. It's not dark anymore. So the conversations also that I may have right now, it's not similar to the conversations I had then with him. The conversations would change. The narrative would change. The situation is different. So while I'm still the same sensitive girl, I am there are some things that have changed in me, and so many people who have spoken to me after 10 years or 5 years. They knew me back then and now they are talking to me. You, as an example, you have seen how I was and how I used to talk back then to how I talk right now, how I deal with things right now, even if it is, challenging, how I deal with it. So, yeah, there are people who see that in me, and I don't have to go and tell them that, hi, I am this strong, independent woman girl who has worked on herself right now. That is visible to people, and that's how that's how people come to me, and I get to help them because they have seen me doing something extraordinary in my life, and they want me to help them do the same thing.
Okay, let's end today's episode here. Wow, what an incredible journey. I mean, from meeting Vishnu and all the changes she have experienced since then. It's truly inspiring to hear how one person can have such an impact on others' life. And thank you so much, Durga, for opening up and sharing your story with us. It's actually a very beautiful reminder on how connections work. Even the unexpected ones can lead to growth and self discovery. To all our listeners, if Durga's story resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on people in your life who have helped you, who have shaped you, or who have been with you along your journey. And if you're still searching for a transformative connection, remember, it's just around the corner. And that's not it. Stay tuned for episode 3 with Durga. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in to this episode of Hearts Unlocked. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with anyone who might need a little help or little inspiration today. We will see you next time. Till then, keep your hearts opened and unlocked. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Veronica. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.